Imagine your exams are right around the corner. You're locked in, studying at a library or a cafe, fighting for your academic life. And suddenly this absolute garbage just starts blasting from some guy's phone. I don't know about you, but that would trigger the biggest crash out known to mankind. So consider this video a public service announcement for you degenerates, because today we're counting down the top 10 anime you should never watch without headphones. Now, without further delay, let's begin. To start off, we have Hands Off, Sawaranaide Kotesashi-kun. Now, don't blame me for liking anime with hot girls in it. I'm a man, alright? But this anime is loud, and not just in terms of volume, it's loud in a very different way. It's literally about a guy giving massages to female athletes, so I don't know what else you expected. What do you want from me? And beyond the massage scenes, characters overreact to everything. The result is an anime that sounds like pure chaos without visuals. In public, the audio alone paints a picture that is wildly inaccurate and deeply uncomfortable. You could be watching a completely harmless scene, but the sound makes it feel like something way more intense is happening. People nearby don't hear comedy, they hear panic. The worst part is how unpredictable it is. You can't prepare for this, alright? It's worse than Attack on Titan and Chainsaw Man combined. 1 second it's normal dialogue, and the next second your phone screams like it just lost a boss fight. So if you want to enjoy watching waifus receive very, very intimate massages, go for it. Just lock yourself in a dungeon or something, please. And at number 9, we've got Immoral Guild. First, let's get the elephant out of the room, shall we, and send it straight to an ivory processing factory. This show is very lewd. It literally has the word immoral in the title. What exactly did you think was gonna happen? Even when nothing extreme is happening, the audio energy is completely unhinged. Characters react dramatically to everything. The main premise is that the local JRPG monsters who are supposed to be fighting adventurers suddenly decided to focus entirely on female adventurers in a very family-friendly way. Very. The anime thrives on exaggerated reactions, which means non-stop vocal chaos. Characters shout, yelp, panic, and fluster themselves into full-blown verbal meltdowns that sound catastrophic without context. In public, this anime makes your phone sound possessed, I'm not gonna lie to you. There is no safe scene, there is none. Calm moments are rare, and this isn't a once per episode problem, it's constant. The anime knows exactly what it's doing, and it does not care about your dignity. It's immoral. The Immoral Guild. So do yourself a favor, just don't watch this in public, for love of God. Next at number 8, we have My Wife is the Student Council President. Do not let the title fool you into thinking this is some playful slice of life anime. This show is the final boss of Do Not Let Anyone Hear This! Forget visuals, forget context. If even 2 seconds of audio escapes your headphones, game over, man. Game over. Why? Because the dialogue delivery is, well, it's a little too comfortable in the way it delivers it. The voices are close, soft, playful, and casually intimate. Even completely normal conversations sound like they require closed doors and a warning sign. You're not watching anything illegal, by any means, no. But the audio absolutely makes it sound like you are. Characters speak quietly, tease each other verbally, and react in tones that feel personal, not publical. It's the kind of voice acting where the silence between lines somehow makes everything worse. Now imagine this playing on a speaker around the family. Or worse, strangers. The anime thrives on situational comedy, but the sound design turns every joke into a trust exercise. Trust that no one is listening, trust that your volume is low, trust that Bluetooth won't betray you and end your life publicly. Watching this without headphones isn't bravery, it's recklessness. After that, at number 7, we have Cat Planet Cuties. This anime should legally come with a warning label that says, do not play audio out loud. Should I read it again? The show thrives on high-pitched voices, exaggerated reactions, and extremely enthusiastic dialogue delivery, especially when a Cat Planet Cutie's tale is touched, even remotely. Every single sentence is either a giggle, a gasp, or an overload of very specific emotions. The issue isn't about what they're saying by any means. It's about how they're saying it. Without headphones, the audio turns into pure, unadulterated, unfiltered, I don't even have any more words to describe this. Sudden squeaks, overexcited shouting, breathless reactions that sound far worse out of context than they actually are. And I gotta say, it really doesn't help that the voice acting goes from 0 to 11 instantly. One calm line and then boom! Maximum excitement, maximum volume, and maximum emotional damage. The anime itself is silly and goofy and harmless fun, but the sound design does you absolutely no favors. It feels like it's actively testing whether you respect basic social norms, and watching Cat Planet Cuties without headphones is basically announcing to the world, I trust the universe way too much. Then at number 6, we've got Omamori Himari. This is one of these anime that completely tricks you in the first few minutes. Supernatural action, demons, swords, and you're like, oh yeah, edgy fantasy stuff. And then the audio energy suddenly, it shifts. This anime has a very special talent, which is making normal conversations sound way more intense than they have any right to be. Like, why is someone whispering this passionately? Why did that sentence end with a gasp? Why does every argument sound like it's about something way too deep and personal? And the timing. Oh, the timing. It's straight up evil. This anime waits for the quietest possible moment and then drops a loud reaction line that hits like a flashbang. And if you're looking for an anime with a strong story or a powerful main character leave immediately, this anime has neither of those. What it does have is a large female cast that is very detailed and more than enough suspicious audio to earn you a lifetime sentence in social prison. And at number 5, we've got Koede Oshigoto, the animation. This is the kind of anime that should legally force your phone to auto-connect to headphones the moment you press play. The moment. And honestly, this might be the most perfect entry on this list. Why? Because the plot is literally about a high school girl becoming a voice actress for adult games. And the entire anime is her practicing those kind of noises. This is the ultimate headphones anime. Because of that, it leans hard into exaggerated delivery, emotional inflections, breathy tones, and dialogue that sounds way too intimate without context. And here's the problem. If someone overhears this anime, they're not thinking, oh, she's practicing voice acting. They're thinking, why does this sound like a private recording session? So while watching this, you're not embarrassed because of the visuals, you're embarrassed because the audio feels like it needs a locked door. The anime itself is surprisingly educational and self-aware, but the sound design is socially dangerous. Every episode feels like a reaction time test to see how fast you can lower the volume when someone walks into the room. Headphones aren't recommended here. They're mandatory. And after that, at the 4th spot of today's list, we have Keijo. Now here's my first question. Why the hell are there so many exclamation marks in the title? At this point, it looks less like a name and more like a warning sign. Well, honestly, it is, because Keijo it might be one of the greatest examples of an anime that should be illegal to watch in public. On screen, it's parody sports nonsense, over-the-top moves, absurd techniques, and an ungodly amount of dramatic commentary. Every move is announced like a finishing attack. Characters shout technique names with maximum intensity. The commentary goes full tournament mode, complete with gasps, reactions, and crowd noises that sound way more serious than it has any right to be. Keijo's greatest strength is how seriously it treats its own stupidity. Unfortunately, that seriousness makes the audio sound far more intense than the joke intends. And before you say anything, let's not forget this is literally an anime about girls jumping around in swimsuits. For the love of God, don't press play in public. Then at the 3rd spot of today's list, we have Seton Academy. Join the pack. Now, when you first started watching this anime, you think, what's wrong with a school full of students who act like animals? Aren't they just basically furries? You see the cute character designs and dumb jokes and think, yeah, this is fine. And then the animal noises begin. And I don't mean normal animal noises. I mean aggressively enthusiastic, emotionally charged, contextually questionable sounds that do not sound innocent in any way without visuals. The comedy relies heavily on exaggerated voice acting, which is only funny, mind you, when you're wearing headphones. Without them, it turns into a social experiment measuring how fast people can judge you. And, spoiler alert, they can judge you pretty fast. Let me paint a picture for you. You're sitting in public, and then your phone accidentally goes to speaker while you're watching this. And suddenly it sounds like the Discovery Channel after hours. Characters bark, growl, yelp, purr, and shout with an intensity that makes everyone around you uncomfortable. Without seeing the screen, it genuinely sounds like you've tapped into something you absolutely shouldn't have. Yeah. And at the runners-up spot of this messed up list, we have Noucome. Life It's a series of choices. Even right now, as you're listening to this, choices are being made. And watching Noucome in public is probably one of the worst ones that you could make. This anime is pure chaos, absolute unfiltered chaos, and most of it comes from sudden unhinged dialogue. The entire gimmick is forcing the protagonist into ridiculous choices, which means characters constantly shout the most absurd lines imaginable with zero warning. And the delivery, oh, it's loud. It's fast, emotional, and completely fearless. Props to the actors, props to the voice actors, okay? You could be watching peacefully and suddenly a character blurts out something so aggressively specific that everyone around you stops breathing for a second. Without visuals, Noucome's audio sounds like you've completely lost control of your phone. Characters scream their reactions and inner monologues are yelled like public confessions. Punchlines aren't whispered here. They're launched at max volume like an emergency PSA. Now, genuine opinion? Noucome is pretty hilarious, but only as long as the rest of the world is not allowed to hear it. And at the top spot of today's list, we have Food Wars. At first glance, Food Wars looks completely harmless. A cooking anime, aprons, knives, recipes. You think, yeah, I can watch this anywhere. On the bus, on the train, even in the library, I can learn new recipes. This can't hurt anyone. Let's do it! And that, my friend, is the first step towards the afterlife. The real danger of Food Wars isn't what's happening on screen, it's what's coming out of the speakers. Every single time someone takes a bite, the anime decides to audibly assault you and your dignity. Every awkward sound imaginable, this show has mastered them. These are the kinds of noises that make nearby people slowly turn their heads like NPCs detecting criminal activity. Laser sights activated. You're just watching a guy eat rice, but the audio suggests he's experiencing a life-altering spiritual awakening. And suddenly your mother starts asking why the cooking show sounds like you need privacy. And if you think headphones will save you any, absolutely not. Because the visuals are operating on a completely different level of insanity. So do yourself a favor, summon the devil, ask for a private room in hell, and then watch the anime. What you experience down there is probably better than what you'll experience up here. Well, that's the list for today, guys. If you were able to make it this far, please be sure to comment down below on which anime you think should have been on this list. And also, if you like this video, like the video. Hit that thumbs up button. And while you're out there, why don't you hit that subscribe button and press on that bell icon and set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.